let's get into talk of even the Premier League from last weekend before we even dig into this week's matches. Let me start with you. How surprised were you about that Nottingham Forest result? Because I'm sure a lot of people thought that by the end of the game week, Manchester City would be back on top of the table because of Arsenal's slip-ups in the prior weeks.
No, I thought that their momentum was with them. I expected City to slip up at a point, definitely, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. I thought they would kind of put pressure on Arsenal for a few weeks before slipping up. Because I always said that I felt that against the smaller teams, they would be more susceptible to dropping points than Arsenal. I think Arsenal, when I've seen them against teams they are supposed to beat, more often than not, they do get their job done. But Man City has been on and off.
Yeah.
They are not as good as they used to be in terms of their perfection. So I expected their points to drop. I didn't expect it to be Nottingham Forest. But Nottingham Forest have a great record at home. I don't think they've lost in 6 or 7 Premier League games at home. It's their away form that's the problem. I think maybe they scored 4 or 5 away goals all season.
Yeah.
So if they were going to get anything from City, it was going to be at home. And they were lucky. City missed a lot of chances.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, they got their points. And it looks like things are starting to click for them. And it looks like they could stay in the Premier League and especially after buying 30 new players. You would hope that they'd be able to kind of get things rolling. So it was a good performance. But my game of the round was definitely the Arsenal game. I enjoyed it very much. It was pulsating. You can't stop watching.
Yeah.
I actually had somewhere to go and
I
was being called at the 90th minute that I need to leave the house. And I just couldn't leave. I had to see what happened.
Had to finish what was going on.
At least I left after the Jorginho goal, but even when I was in the car, I was listening to the radio. Then Martinelli also scored, so it showed that even that one I left too early. But that was a great game to watch.
Drama packed. What was your game of the round?
Not to be biased, but I'll be biased over here. My game of the round, I would say the United-Leicester game. Because I think it was a game of two halves. Even though United went into the halftime break on having the lead, it was a first half clearly dominated by Brendan Rodgers' guys, and they should have made more of what they're able to put up on the field of play. But unfortunately for them, that didn't happen. United came second half, and the changes Ten Hag is gradually being very known for. He's very brave when it comes to decision making. He's very assertive, and he's not scared to make any game defining changes, and that's what he did during halftime of that game. And he has done a couple of times during halftime. He changed certain things. It worked to his benefit against Leicester. Yeah. The whole team began clicking, and from then on, it was a walk in the park. So I just liked to see the juxtaposition from Leicester's dominance, then come back to United's dominance. And it just goes to show that the Premier League is a very tough league, because Leicester have had an up and down season, but they showed that even against the very best, they still are a force to be reckoned with. So it just goes to show you the strength of the league, and it just makes me anticipate the end of the season, because now everybody is serious. They are fighting for something. Nobody. I think there are very few teams who have nothing to fight for.
True.
Everybody has something.
You're either battling relegation, trying to battle not falling into the relegation fight, or a conference league spot or something of the sort.
What, 8 points between 20th and 12th? So
it's
very close.
It's very tight.
I just want to touch on something Sydney said about Ten Hag's changes. His in-game management is superb. You see it game after game. Even the Europa League, you saw Barca having the better first half. He made some changes at halftime, and Man U were the better team in the second half. He constantly does that. So even when he gets his selection wrong, he's not afraid to kind of admit he's got it wrong, change things up, and win the game. And we've seen a lot of games that last season, or even under Ole.
Reminds me of some manager I know. But
even when under Ole and Ralph Rangnick, we saw that if Man U went down or they kind of got things wrong, they were unable to kind of switch things up, change things. But Ten Hag makes those changes. He sees solutions, and it's a great trait. And that's why they are, and that's even what's helped them in their cup runs. Because you can see they're in a Carabao Cup final. They are doing well in the FA Cup. They are doing well in the Europa League. So it's going well for them. And that's all down to Erik Ten Hag for me, because I don't think that this squad is that much better than last season.
Let me just, before we even get into the main show, I mean, we are on the Ten Hag United discussions. I'll just rather touch on this. United have a cup final on Sunday. It's a big game. I've been watching United fans chirping on my timeline from last night, this morning. Ten Hag praises, Ten Hag in tongues, like everything Ten Hag. It's just been overwhelming. I'm saying that, do they have what it takes to beat Newcastle this Sunday? And I'm not saying this lightly, because Newcastle have probably been the toughest team to crack this season.
Yeah. Actually, I've said rightly, Newcastle have been very tough. But this game comes out, I think, in a good time for United because Newcastle are fortunate a bit. They have been strong throughout the season, but over the past seven games,
it's been
draws all along. Just like one win, a couple of draws, a loss. They lost last weekend to Liverpool. They are shorn of their top two goalkeepers.
Loris
Karius PTSD.
Karius has a point to prove to everybody.
But he also has PTSD from Cup final. So let's see how that one will go. So Newcastle, and they've lost Bruno Guimaraes for the past couple of games. He will be back in the final. So
that is a key return,
a very key return for them.
Honestly,
a very key return.
If Nick Pope was in goal, I would think it's a 50-50 game with Man U as slight favourites.
You don't trust Karius at all?
It's not about Karius. There's a reason that he's third choice. The manager sees all the keepers and he's decided he's third choice. If it was Nick Pope, I'd say it's 50-50. Man U as slight favourites, but it would be very difficult to score. Now, I can see Rashford getting a goal or two very easily. The form he's in. I thought Nick Pope was one of the few keepers who could stop him. Yeah. But Nick Pope is not there. I don't think Dubravka could have stopped him. And I certainly don't expect
Karius to be the one stopping him. Well,